Okay, so let's look at some possible answers. So what should he do? So what should Alex do? If you look at the chart, you can see that food service managers require at least a high school diploma or equivalent. And we talked about a GED being an equivalent to a high school diploma. So we could say he should study for his GED or study for a GED. So he should study for a GED. Or, you can just say he should get a GED. Now, some of you might know people who are already restaurant managers, and maybe they don't have a GED or high school diploma, or maybe they have one from their own country, and that's great. But in some cases, you can become a restaurant manager if you open your own restaurant. So you could say he should open his own restaurant if he doesn't want to get a GED. Okay, so let's move on to the next page, which is lesson F. Oh, I'm sorry, not lesson F. The whole thing is lesson F, but this is our grammar connections lesson. So we've already learned both the present continuous and the present perfect continuous, but in this lesson we're going to compare them, and it's basically a review, but it's good that we can see them together like this, so we have more certainty about how to use them. So I'm going to go ahead and play the lesson, and we will discuss it afterwards. Okay, here we go.
Unit 8, Lesson F, Grammar Connections. Present continuous and present perfect continuous. Watch and listen. Present continuous. Questions with what? Use questions with what and the present continuous to ask about things that are happening right now.
What is your family doing now?
What are you wearing right now?
Present continuous statements. Use present continuous statements to answer what questions about things that are happening now.
What is your family doing now?
They're watching a movie.
What are you wearing right now?
I'm wearing a green sweater.
What is she studying right now?
She's studying math.
What are they playing?
They're playing soccer.
What are you doing?
I'm cleaning the house.
Check your understanding. Look at the picture. Listen to the question. Complete the answer.
What is she studying right now?
She's studying math.
What are they playing?
They're playing soccer.
What are you doing?
I'm cleaning the house.
Watch and listen. Present perfect continuous. Questions with how long. Use questions with how long in the present perfect continuous to ask about actions that started in the past, continue to now, and will probably continue in the future.
How long have you been washing windows?
Present perfect continuous statements. Use present perfect continuous statements to answer how long questions about an activity that started in the past, and continues to the present.
How long have you been washing windows?
We have been washing windows since 1 o'clock.
How long has she been studying math?
She's been studying math for 2 hours.
How long have they been playing soccer?
They have been playing soccer since 12 o'clock.
How long have you been cleaning the house?
I have been cleaning the house for about an hour.
Check your understanding. Look at the picture. Answer the question.
How long has she been studying math?
She's been studying math for 2 hours.
How long have they been playing soccer?
They have been playing soccer since 12 o'clock.
How long have you been cleaning the house?
I have been cleaning the house for about an hour.
Let's review. Use the present continuous to talk about an activity that is happening at the moment of speaking.
My classmate is writing in her book right now.
Use the present
Okay,
perfect
so
continuous
let's go back to our
to talk
book.
about an activity that started in the past
Okay.
and continues to
now,
the present.
I've been
Sometimes
writing emails
we
for 2
might
hours.
use the present continuous and the present perfect continuous in the same conversation. For example, let's look at this first sentence. So it says, "My classmate is writing in her book right now." So this is happening at the moment of asking the question or saying the statement, well, you know what? Okay, let me go back a little bit. So let's say somebody asked you, "Hey, what's your classmate doing?" So what is your classmate doing? That's a present continuous question. So it's happening right now. So you might answer, "My classmate is writing in her book right now." And then that person might ask, "How long has she been writing?" So that's a present perfect continuous question, and it's part of the same conversation. So you can answer, "She's been writing in her book for 30 minutes." Okay, so you can see, as you can see, this sentence is actually not related to this sentence. So I'm just making another sentence. As you can see, in the same conversation, you might use both tenses. Like the present perfect continuous would be like a follow-up or an additional question, like, "Oh, I noticed she's doing this. How long has she been doing that?" Okay, so let's take a look at this activity. And it's a game, but we're not going to play the game as it's written in the instructions. We're just going to practice asking and answering the questions. So it says choose someone in the classroom, but of course, since we're not in the classroom, you can choose someone in your family, or you can just skip those questions and do other questions. So if you look at the first one, it says choose someone in the classroom or your family. What is he or she wearing? So you might say, my husband is wearing a button-down shirt, which is a dress shirt, and sweatpants. Actually, it's funny because these days during the coronavirus, as you know, many people are working from home. So they have to sit in front of a computer and as I'm doing right now. So I am also sitting in front of a computer, and many people wear a nice dress shirt, but since people cannot see the bottom half of their body, they just wear shorts or sweatpants. So it's a very funny and common situation these days. So I actually read that Walmart is having an increase in sales for tops, for their shirts, but not for pants. So sales are increasing for shirts, but not for pants. It makes sense. Okay, so and actually, let me mention what I'm doing right now and use both tenses. So we can say, I can say, I am recording the lesson in front of my computer right now. So I'm doing it right now. So that's present continuous. And you might be curious, you might be wondering, how long have I been recording this lesson? So that's present perfect continuous. So I can say, I have been recording this lesson for 1 hour, but actually I have been recording several lessons. So I have been recording lessons since 5 a.m. and right now it is almost 10 a.m. So I have been recording lessons for almost 5 hours. So as you can see, this is a very time-consuming activity. But anyway, go ahead and take some time to ask and answer some of these questions, and you can practice with someone in your family or just practice on your own. But we're not going to do this together afterwards because your answers will be very different. Okay, so we're gonna, or you can pause the video here, and then when you're finished practicing, you can move on, or you can continue. Okay, so we're going to look at our review lesson, which is on the next page, page 108. Okay, page 108. All right, so let's see. Okay, so the first activity is a listening activity. So I'm going to play the audio and I want you to take notes and also put a check under the correct name. So you'll hear a conversation between Clara and John. Okay, so here we go.
Review, Units 7 and 8. Page 108. Exercise 1.
Hey, hi, John.
Oh, hi, Clara.
What a long week. I'm glad it's Friday.
Me too, Clara. And look, the bus is on time today.
And you don't have to drive in all that rush hour traffic.
I know, but I've been taking this bus a long time. And I'm thinking about buying a car. I'm interested in finding a used SUV.
An SUV? You should think about buying a smaller car. You can save a lot more money, and you can save on gas, too.
Hey, I'm a big guy. I can't fit in a small car. I'm worried about getting a car that's too small for me. But hey, you could get a smaller car. I'll come to work with you and save my gas money. Then I can buy my SUV and take my friends for a ride after work.
Oh, sorry, John. I'm not interested in buying a car. I like the bus just fine. I'm saving my money to buy a house someday. Oh, here's my stop. See you Monday.
Okay, so this time I'm going to play the audio one more time, and I want you to listen for gerunds after prepositions. If you remember from lesson C, okay, so it's on page 88 in your student's book. Let me show you here. So page 88, Unit 7, Lesson C, we talked about gerunds after prepositions. Just very quickly, let's look at just two examples. So what are you thinking about doing? I'm thinking about buying a car. So as you can see here, this is a gerund, buying, and it comes after a preposition, and the preposition is about. So gerunds after prepositions, and we usually use a verb or an adjective. And here's another adjective when we make these phrases. So thinking about buying, that's verb, preposition, gerund. Then afraid of losing, that's adjective, preposition, gerund. Interested in applying, that's also an adjective, preposition, gerund. So these are really common phrases. So you can see in these examples as well, like afraid of losing, as you can see here. Happy about getting a new job. So getting would be the gerund. But anyway, go ahead and listen to the audio one more time. So I'm going to play it here one more time and try to listen for those phrases. Okay, here we go.
Review, Units 7 and 8. Page 108. Exercise 1.
Hey, hi, John.
Oh, hi, Clara.
What a long week. I'm glad it's Friday.
Me too, Clara. And look, the bus is on time today.
And you don't have to drive in all that rush hour traffic.
I know, but I've been taking this bus a long time, and I'm thinking about buying a car. I'm interested in finding a used SUV.
An SUV? You should think about buying a smaller car. You can save a lot more money, and you can save on gas, too.
Hey, I'm a big guy. I can't fit in a small car. I'm worried about getting a car that's too small for me. But hey, you could get a smaller car. I'll come to work with you and save my gas money. Then I can buy my SUV and take my friends for a ride after work.
Oh, sorry, John. I'm not interested in buying a car. I like the bus just fine. I'm saving my money to buy a house someday. Oh, here's my stop. See you Monday.
Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the chart first. So what I want you to do is practice making questions, and these are actually really easy questions because they are all subject questions. So you do not need to use a helping verb. So the answer is John. So how can we make a question here? Very simple. Okay, so we can just say, who wants an SUV? Who wants an SUV? Okay, and if you answer in a complete sentence, you can just say, John wants an SUV. John wants an SUV. Okay, so we're going to do that for all of these, and it's easy because they are all subject questions, so all we need to do is use who. Okay, so number 2, who thinks a small car is better? Okay, and the answer is Clara. So you can say Clara thinks a small car is better. Number 3, who says an SUV is more comfortable? John says an SUV is more comfortable. Number 4, who wants to take friends for a ride? John wants to take friends for a ride. Number 5, who wants to keep taking the bus? Clara wants to keep taking the bus. And number 6, who wants to save money to buy a house? Clara wants to save money to buy a house. It seems like Clara is a good money manager, or she seems to be very responsible. And John, on the other hand, seems a bit selfish. He told Clara that she can buy a small car and he can ride with her and save his own money. And then when he gets a car, he wants to take his friends for a ride, but not Clara. So you could tell that Clara was a little annoyed at him. Okay, and I also asked you to look for gerunds after prepositions. So there were several in the listening, in the conversation. So John said that he's interested in finding an SUV. So interested in finding. And Clara said you should think about buying a smaller car. So think about buying. You can also say thinking about buying. Both of those phrases were in the listening. And then John also said, I'm worried about getting a car that's too small for him. So worried about getting. So those are the gerunds after prepositions that were mentioned in the audio, in the conversation. So we're going to go ahead and look at exercise 2, grammar. But for this one, you can go to part 3 of the video, part 3.